I'm here backstage at AOL Build with one of the most talented singers that is around right now, Jake
Thank you,
Miller.
man. Appreciate that.
You're quite welcome. It's all true.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, you haven't been around too long, right? You about
I've been
7 or
making
8
music-
years.
Yeah, exactly. 7 or 8 years.
Yeah. And going back, what first made you want to become a performer?
Um, I I initially started making music without the thought of ever being a performer. I was a pretty shy kid growing up. Didn't really love the spotlight, and I loved music. I've always loved it, and I started making songs in my last year of high school.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got my first manager, the first thing I said to him was that I'll make music. I want to be super famous. I want everyone to know me and know my music, but I'm never going to step on stage. And he's like, that's not how the industry works.
Yeah.
And
As you can see.
yeah. And so I was just scared to play my first show. And then I got my first opportunity to play. It was opening for Snoop Dogg, and I couldn't turn it down. So it was a life-changing night, just because it kind of opened my eyes to how cool performing could be.
If you could say something to your younger self, now that you've been obviously on stage a ton, have a ton of adoring fans, would you kind of push some extra confidence into your younger self?
I think everybody, honestly, growing up just kind of lacks confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a weird time. You know, I was in high school. I was quiet. I had some acne. I was scrawny. Like, I was, averagely popular. I didn't have too much confidence. And so, I mean, obviously, looking back now, if I could go back and tell that younger kid what's to come,
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd be pumped. But, it's not easy to just, gain confidence out
Right.
of nowhere. It takes a lot of years of just, kind of not caring what other people think.
Did you gain your confidence when you started to feel like you became stronger as a writer and a performer, or had you already gained some of that confidence just coming up step by step?
Yeah, step by step. I mean, as I started to put out music and get such, amazing feedback from people around the world who I don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
it just, the social media numbers started blowing up, the YouTube views started blowing up, and a lot of hate comments, but 99% of them were great comments. And so they were just, kind of giving me that fuel to keep making music and,
Mm-hmm.
actually believe in myself. So
Yeah, those hate comments will always be there. Your album
sure.
sales can speak for
Exactly.
the likes, right?
Exactly.
From your new album, Based on a True Story,
Yeah.
I know that there was a lot of personal feelings and writing about personal things that you had gone through.
Yeah.
What was one of the most challenging songs for you to write off that new album?
I think the most emotional, vulnerable song is the last one, called "What If You Fell in Love."
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't necessarily hard. It was actually probably the easiest to write, just
Mhm.
because I let my guard down 100%, and just whatever I was feeling, I just put out there, and wasn't gonna look back and worry about who's listening. But the song that took me the longest was probably Nike's. It started as a completely different song.
Mhm.
It was called "I Still Want You" with a completely different melody, had nothing to do with Nike's. And I knew that the beat was really cool, but I didn't love the song, so I just kept writing new songs on top of that beat, and
Mhm.
now it turned into what you hear now.
It's a phenomenal album.
Thank you so much.
There are 6 catchy songs, and you really can hear your vocal maturity, I feel like,
Thanks.
in this album as well.
Thank you.
Did you feel that while you were putting it together?
Yeah, I think you can hear the maturity in different aspects. In terms of the production, in terms of the writing, the vocal production. Yeah, I mean, I'm very picky about my vocal. That's like the one thing that nowadays I'll send all my stuff off to get mixed professionally, but I do all the vocal production and mixing by myself, because I feel like nobody gets it exactly perfect the way I want it in my head. And so I'll cut each line 20, 30 times, go syllable by syllable, making sure everything is perfect, and just kind of study and do all my research about how to EQ the vocal perfectly and the perfect amount of tune and reverb and all that stuff. So I'm very particular when it comes to my vocals, so I appreciate you saying that.
You've definitely perfected it, but I
Thank
would
you.
argue that your earlier music was just as good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm definitely growing as an artist. I wasn't a singer growing up by any means. I wasn't even a musician. Honestly, I was just watching my dad play guitar, and I would play drums just to kind of keep him company. And I thought he was like a rock star, so I was like, I'm gonna do this too.
Yeah.
But I didn't grow up being really good at rapping or singing. I didn't know how to do either. I started off rapping just because I thought it was fun, and it was a fun hobby with my friends. And then down the line, I kind of grew out of rapping, and I'm like, I'm gonna try singing now. I went to a few vocal lessons, kind of gave up on that just because I'm a stubborn student, but continued to listen to other singing stuff and just kind of do my research, and learn about vocal warm-ups and stuff like that, how to take care of your voice. So yeah, it's just all about learning, getting better.
Now, anybody who's gone to one of your shows knows you put like 3,000% energy into them.
Yeah.
So much so that I think you broke your ankle.
I did. On the last show of the tour, I sprained my ankle and I broke my pinky toe. And I'm supposed to be in my boot right now, but
You can't see it on this video, so
No.
you're in
You'll
your
never
boot.
know.
It looks really good, Jake.
Thank
It
you
looks
so
really
much.
good, that boot.
you hear that, Dad? I got the boot on right now.
And the doctors, he's listening, don't
Yeah.
worry.
It's definitely healing though. It's getting better.
You have amassed quite a fan base who is extremely loyal to you. Besides your music that really touches them, do you feel that your personal connection with them really has a lot to do with it? Because you're very fan friendly.
Yeah.
And you interact quite a bit with them.
Yeah, I think it's more that than the music, honestly. I think just kind of being true to yourself and letting everybody know who you are and just kind of being 100% transparent. I think I have a really good head on my shoulders because of the way my parents raised me, and I care a lot about my friends and my family and giving back and giving back to the community. And so I think I put all that out there on social media. None of it's fake, none of it's a facade, and I think a lot of people can relate to that, and they respect it. And so I think they follow. I think most people follow my music first, but then they go to like my Instagram or my YouTube videos, or they'll watch an interview like this, and they'll kind of get hooked a little bit more because they could tell that I'm a real person.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And you just performed at a Pride Parade
I
this
did.
weekend, right?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
It was so much fun, honestly. Just great energy. It was my first Pride, actually maybe my second Pride Fest, but definitely the first Pride Fest like this. This was huge Pride Fest. I think the biggest one in upstate New York, and the energy was just amazing. The second I stepped on stage, everybody, whether they're fans of me or not, they just all went crazy, and you could just tell there's no judgment in the crowd just because everybody's out there standing for something, and something so amazing and powerful. And so it was just a beautiful day. And I'm excited to do a lot more of those.
What are some of the other causes that you stand behind and that you put your celebrity behind?
I've always been big into anti-bullying. I wrote a song or two about it. Suicide awareness is huge for me, just because I had a friend commit suicide when probably like 3 years ago. That I don't think will ever kind of go off my brain. That's always something that for the rest of my life I'll think about, and I never really thought about it before that. And I mean, I love just going to hospitals and performing for patients and just kind of cheering them up and brightening up their day, because my dad's in medicine. So I grew up around patients and medicine and hospitals. So I think all those things, honestly. I mean, when I get like super famous, I'm gonna like start my own organization or foundation. I'm not exactly sure which of those it's gonna tailor to, but I'm gonna get super serious about giving back at some point.
What I love about you is you said when you get super famous.
Yeah, it's not it.
Do you realize how popular and how adored you are?
I appreciate that. I do, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I'm at like level 4 out of 10 in my mind. I have so much to go.
My sister is actually a health teacher, and I pass along your songs because she teaches high school. And,
Amazing.
And suicide is one of her big lessons. So I pass
think,
those songs along. So that's
nowadays it's really important. A lot of kids are depressed. A lot of kids are going through anxiety, and I think honestly more than not. There's like a lot of kids dealing with that stuff, and I think it should be talked about more. And so whatever I can do to kind of bring awareness to it.
I think that's very important for someone who is looked up to and has that public platform to bring awareness to erase the stigma. So that's really fantastic that you do that. Now, Little Bird told me that you are interested in pursuing acting.
Yeah, I mean,
true?
it's difficult. It's not like something that I have a passion in probably any more than you do. I really just want to like be in.
How do you know what I do after I leave here? I'm on Broadway, Jake Miller.
No, it's not something that I'm like super passionate about. Like the only thing I'm really passionate about is music. But when I do become like a household name in music, I would love to kind of take a little break, or not even maybe take a break if I can do them both at the same time, but try to get into film and TV and try to, I don't know, just see if there is a passion there. 'Cause right now I don't really feel it, but I do like trying all these different things. I like trying different instruments and singing and rapping and acting, and at least try it enough to see if you like it or not. So
now you mentioned you think you're a 4 in terms of
Yeah.
getting to where you want to be, do you think that's an accurate representation of how the world sees you and how your fans see you? Or do you think that you're putting extra pressure on yourself?
I'm definitely putting extra pressure on myself. I don't know how the world sees me, honestly. I mean, there's people who have never heard of me, and there's people who I'm their favorite artist in the world, and they have my lyrics tattooed. So to some people I'm a 10, some people I'm a 0. I mean, in my mind, I never really think about it like that. I'm obviously kind of joking, but there is so much to go. I have done 99%. You know, all the stuff I've done is like stuff that I never thought I would accomplish. So I am very lucky, but I want to get to that level, Justin Timberlake level, selling out arenas. And
hey, you're pretty close to that level.
I don't know
You're
about
getting
that,
there.
but I appreciate it.
I mean, Justin's my idol. You're
me too.
creeping up, man.
I
You're creeping
appreciate
up.
that. Thank you.
Now, some people may look and see Jake Miller, he's built, he's this, he's that, but you really are not a pretty boy singing. You are a hugely talented
Thank you.
person. Is that something, obviously physical fitness is important to you, but you're obviously more about the music, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's actually been a kind of like a constant battle in my mind over the last few years as I've started getting more and more into fitness, because obviously it is something I do every day, and it's something that I'm passionate about, and something that every now and then I think I want to show off to the world just because I'm putting in a lot of work. But I never want to be thought of as like, a fitness model or an Instagram model. Like, I don't want anybody in the world following me thinking that that's what I do. I want anyone who follows me to follow me because they like my music, or at least give my music a shot. And if you don't like it, then continue following me because you think I'm a cool person. But if you follow me, if you're watching this, it's all about the music for me.
When do you think you put out new music pretty frequently for someone who doesn't have to, you're really in tune with the younger generation of artists where people don't want to wait a year or two for new music. And I think that is something that's probably really helped you in maintaining your healthy audience.
Yeah, I'm definitely always working on music. I have my whole studio set up on the road. I record in hotel rooms now and stuff like that. So as you said, people don't want to wait a year. People don't even want to wait a couple months now. It's like you put out an EP, you better come with more music within 2 or 3 months. And so I got new music ready.
But that's because of the level that your music is at, I think.
Maybe, or that, and also just the fact that there's so much great music out there, so many great artists, and so it's like it's all just about staying in the eye of everybody and just being like, look, I'm always working, I'm always on the road, I'm always making music, and just I might not be the most talented person in the industry, but I think I'm one of the most hardworking, honestly.
That was going to be my next. You led me right in. You really bust your ass to get your music out there, to be there for your fans, to put on shows.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody who goes out and does a concert with a sprained foot and still's jumping around like a crazy person, that says a lot about you and your commitment to the fans. And that's really important.
Thanks.
And probably says a lot about you as a person outside of the music industry.
I appreciate
that.
that.
You have a strong sense of character.
I really want this more than anything, and so I work as hard as I possibly can in order to get it.
Who would you like to do a collaboration with besides Justin?
John Mayer is my favorite artist of all time, so I always say John Mayer. I'd love to work with Pharrell. He's my favorite producer. And
man.
Cool. Jake, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.